Hello guys, welcome to my channel. Today we'll play some Star Battle Puzzle with hard difficulty. So if you don't know how to play the Star Battle Puzzle, you should watch my previous video which done the Star Puzzle on the normal difficulty. So let's start the game. So we first search for the small block here. So this block is small, so I will color them. Yeah, so in the two region here, green and blue, we cannot put two stars or even more stars in one same color region. So we know that in each region we can put at most one star only. But for this L-shaped block, we should put two stars, right? So in these three cells we cannot put any star. So this ensures that the two star will run into the block here. Then we also find that for this block, we first we want to test some isolated position. So we need to cancel some position here. So we test the position outside this block, which cancel most of the cells here. So if you put here, this will cancel almost all of the cells of this block. But the two stars should be crammed in here, but this is not possible, right? So we find that we cannot do that here. So this cannot be a star here. Then we try this position. This will cancel all of this position because two stars cannot be adjacent to each other. But this block will left with these three cells only. But three cells here cannot cram in the two stars. So we cannot put a star there. So now we look at the first three rows. So looking that we have one block, two block, and third block here. So there are totally 6 stars in these three blocks, which will constitute for the 6 stars in these three rows also. So we should cancel the other cells here. Then looking at this block, we know that the two stars of this block will appear in here or in here. But this should constitute the two stars for the fourth block, for this row, this fourth block. So we should cancel the fourth row here. Now we're looking at this. First, let me cancel some region here. Yeah, so a color region means that the color region will put exactly one star there. So now we look at this two region. So same as here, one color region can only be put one star only. But for this region, we know that we cannot put a star here because then this block will can only be put one star only. So which is impossible. So we cancel this color here. So one star should appear here and one star should appear here. So we find that we cannot put a star here. Yeah, so we cancel this cell. So now we analyze further for this block. If we have two stars in here, so that means uh, let's try. If we put two stars here, then we'll cancel these three cells. So this is just a hypothesis. We need to try whether this holds or not. So if you put two stars here, then the first row is complete. But this block, we cannot put two stars in this region. So that is not possible. So we know that we cannot put two stars in the first row part. But if we put the two stars of this block in the second row, which is only can only be put like this, then we will cancel most of the region here. But for this block again, we find that we left with one empty slot only. So this is also not possible. Now we know that we should only put one star at the first row region and one star in the second row region. So now we get a more concrete feeling about the situation in here. So now we know that the first row will have one star. But if we have so now we know that this row have one star. Then this row we claim that here we also have one star here. So if we have two stars here like this, then this will cancel this. The position here is not important lah. So then we will put two star here, but which is impossible, right? Just now we argued that here we must have one star. So this row cannot have two stars. But if we have two stars here, they will adjacent. So now we conclude that in these five cells we only get one star, and in these two cells we also get one star. This gives us further evidence on the position of this block. So now we know that here we have one star, here we have one star. Then we can cancel this cell. Now we search for the other clue here. We look at the second and third rows. Now we know that here we have five groups all together. Each group is a 2 by 2 square. So I will not color them because the region will be kind of messy here. So in these five groups, only one group is empty because the other four groups will contain one star each. So this is similar to our argument just now, because one group, a 2 by 2 square, cannot hold two or more than two squares, or more than two stars, sorry. So now we find that we have empty, so I will color them red. So this is empty. So here we must have one star, which is already true lah. So here we also got one star, and one star, one star, and one star. So this tells us that in this region we have one star. So in this region we should have one star, but this two is not possible. So in this one of these two yellow region, we should have one star. So this tells us that these two position is not possible. Now we look at the fourth row here. If here, so now we argue that where should have stars. If these two cells doesn't hold stars, then the two stars in this row should be in here. So now we look at the this block, but this block only have three cells adjacent here, so it's impossible to have two stars in this region. So this assumption is wrong. So we should jump back, and we know that in these two cells, so one of the cell here should have one star. Then either here or here, these two possibility will always cancel this four position here, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this make us complete this green region. Then just now we know that here we got one star, and here we got one star, and one star. So for the first and the second row, we know that. So we know the position of the total four stars. So we should cancel this cell. So now we do some last part of this first four rows. If we put a star here, then this will cancel this neighborhood. Then for this block, we find that we can only put two stars like this, but this will cancel here. So this make this block can only put one star only, which is a wrong assumption. So we know that we cannot put a star here. So then we find that the second row, one star will be put in one of the two cells here. So which we can cancel these four cells here. So for this block, we know that a star will appear in here. So we also color them like this. So now let us try what if we put a star here? Then this will cancel this neighborhood. Then judging for the color region, we know that a star will be appearing here. Yeah, so then in this blue region, a star should be put in here. Then here we got one star only. But for this block, we need to find another place for the second star, which is here. Absolutely. So for the second row, we put a remaining star here. Then for this yellow region, we put a star here. But keep in mind that in the second row, one of these two regions should be put a star, but we already cancel this, so we got this star here. Yeah, so we cancel this, and in this green region, we put a star here. But this will cancel this because we already complete the third column. For this star, we have to cancel this, and we know that in this L shape, uh, we should put a star in here. Because if we didn't put a star here, two star cannot be crammed in here. So we should put a star here. This will cancel the neighborhood. But for this block, we find that we cannot complete it because two star cannot be adjacent to each other. So the initial assumption is wrong. We shouldn't put a star here. Yeah, so we cannot put a star here. The star should put in here. Then this tells us that if we put a star here, this will cancel these three cells, right? So the two star for this block will only appear in the first column, but same column cannot have more than two stars, right? So we find that we cannot put a star here. So after that, now we see what other contradiction can we get. So let's look at the first and the second column. Here we have one star, and here we have one star. So it is very mm, so it's very definitive to give that can we ensure that the star is here or is here, because if we can prove that here is a star, then here we got what, three star, then here we must not have two star for this block, because this will give these two columns five star, which is impossible. So if we can prove that either the star is here, or then or the star is here, then this will make a huge improvement in this puzzle. So if we have a star here, then only one star can appear in here, right? So here we should put a star. So from this idea, we start from we try that if we put a star here, what will happen? Yeah. So if we put a star here, then we cancel its neighborhood. Then we find that for this region, we can split it in two groups. Each group will have at most one star. So a star should be appear in here. Then keep in mind that in these two cells, one of them, in these two cells, one of them is a star. So because we cancel this, the star should appear in here. And then second star for this block will only be here. Then for this row, we have completed it. Then we fill up this star. But two star will cancel this column. Then for this blue region, a star should be appearing here. Then we found that uh, because this block we have already completed, this cell is not a star. So for this column, we should put a star here. Then we cancel this. But in this green region, one star should appear in one of two places here. Combined with this star, we know that here shouldn't be a star because this actually cancel the whole column. But for this green region, this will complete the whole first row. But remember that this blue region should put a star, which is a contradiction here. So the initial assumption is wrong. We shouldn't put a star in here. So let me undo until that. Yeah, so we shouldn't put a star here. So we find that a star here, two stars in here. This will cancel these blue cells. Then we can immediately fill up some star here. So now let us try and error here. For these two cells, we try one of a cell. If we try here, then the neighborhood will be cancelled. Then in this yellow region, we put a star here. Then for this region, we know that look at these two region. Yeah, so in this yellow and green, each will have one star. So we can cancel here. You cancel here because this block will need uh, exactly two stars here. So that we know that one star should be in these two position. We cancel these two position. Then fill a similar region in this block. We find that one star should be here and one star should be here. So we cancel this. So this is a critical point. We know that two star will be appear in the last row. So we will cancel this. So now let me color some region. So here we got one star and here we got one star. So now looking at the third and the fourth columns, we know that one star here, one star here, one star and one star here. So we already find the four places to be put four stars. So this region is not possible. Then we should put a star here. Then cancel the neighborhood and a column. We put the remaining star. So now we look at this region here. So we find that the region is almost clear, but we live with the L shape here. Now we use the region again. So we know that a blue, each color region should be put one star. Combined with this star, we know that this star and this star will cancel the whole column here. Then we got this two star left with here. So now we looking at this block, we find that a star should be put in here and a star should be put in here. So we can complete some rows here because one star here and one star here, we cancel these two. But then looking at this block, we find that because here we got one star, so two star cannot be put in here together. So but for this column, we've already done. So this is a contradiction because we cannot have three star in one column. So look, we almost done here, but this is a contradiction. We cannot avoid it. So we should undo until we reach the step of this star. Yes. So we know that this assumption is wrong. We cannot put a star here. So we should put a star here. Then we cancel the neighborhood. Yeah. Then in this yellow region, we put the remaining star. Then the fifth column is already done. Then we look at this region. Let me put some color here. So in these two regions, each region will put at most one star. So we should put here. And we cancel some other possibility. Now we're looking at here we got one star and one star. So the fourth star in this third and fourth columns should be put in here. So here we got only one star, so the second star in this block should be put in here. Then we cancel it. So in this column we have already done a star here. So now we're looking at the last three columns. So for this block, we have reduced to these 7 cells here. Let me put some color. So we know that in this green and blue region, each region will have one star. So, uh, so the green region here should have at most one star. So we cannot put a star in here. So we cancel it. Then we know that in these two columns, here we got one star and one star. So where is the other two stars? The other two stars can only be put in these two cells or this. So we got only three cells to put two stars. So apparently two star cannot be crammed in these two cells. So should put one of star should be put in here. Then because one star should be put in here, So let me color it. So these two cells is not possible. Should put a cross here. So a star will be put in these two blue region. We also cancel this. So we got a star here. Now because the last row we have 1 star and 2 star, so we can cancel other possibility. So we put a star remaining here. Then we can complete this block. Then we cancel this row in this column. So in this green region we put a star here. Then we know that no, this block with a L shape to deal with, this got 1 star and this also got 1 star. So here with 1 star together with this star, we can cancel the whole column here. So the second column we put 2 stars here. For this row we cancel this, and for this row we cancel this. So we know that for this row we also cancel these two. Then it's easy to complete this puzzle. Yeah, so now we have completed the puzzle. So I have used 40 minutes to solve it because I think a lot in how to explain the situation here. So so thanks for watching. If you find this helpful, please give me a subscribe. Thank you.